What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in as always. I don't really like doing these videos. The how to build a $10,000 per month hypnosis business in 30 days. I don't like doing them. The reason why I don't like doing these videos is because realistically, most people just won't be up to doing what's required. Everybody wants to make the $10,000 a month in 30 days, but nobody wants to do the actual work, which is why if you actually do it, it's kind of easy, right? But I mean, everybody wants to make money, but complains about things being too hard. And it's like, what do you want? But I'm putting this video out there anyway, because I know that there's a version of me out there who hasn't made this money yet, who would kill for this kind of thing. And this isn't the typical YouTube clickbait. This is actual steps that I use. I'm going to break it down very simply, and I'm very tactical the way I do things. So I'm going to give you the full blueprint, right? It's simple. And if you apply it, it will work, okay? I'm living proof of this multiple times over. I've done this multiple times, okay? And I have this so refined that the entire business plan is on a sticky note, a sticky pad, all right? First thing, this is the point. This is one of the points in the video where I would encourage you to hit pause and go Google what I'm about to say, okay? A business model canvas. Go find yourself a business model canvas, all right? If you don't already know what that is, it's just a little model, a little chart that gives you a bird's eye view of your entire business and how it all fits together, right? Including your value proposition, your target client, your costs, your revenue streams, your key partners, your distribution channels, your key activities, and I'm forgetting a couple, but you get what I'm trying to say, okay? The reason why you need that and why you should answer all the things in there, and I'll summarize what the important ones are, is you need to get clear, right? You need to be, if you're going to make this money, which you will, if you follow through on what I'm saying in this video, and if you're going to make this money quickly, you have to be incredibly crystal clear on what you're doing, who you're serving, what you're offering, what your pricing is, how you're going to let people know you exist, the channels that you'll be reaching people through, so on and so forth. Like, there's no time for thinking here, right? There's absolutely zero time for thinking and second guessing. Like, this video is for the folks who have to get it in 30 days. Like, their life is on the line. That is what this is for, right? So if you have no flame in you, you're playing it cool and casual, this is not the video for you, okay? But get extremely clear on the following. Write this down. Number one, your value proposition. What are you offering? If it's hypnosis, are you offering hypnotherapy? Or are you offering just regular hypnosis, right? If it's hypnotherapy, which is my area of expertise, what exactly are you offering in terms of like style of service or product? Are you offering hypnosis audios? Are you offering one-on-one hypnosis? Are you offering consultation to other hypnotists or hypnotherapists? Are you what are you offering? A course, right? Figure out what you are offering. How are you packaging the value? Is it in the form of an audio recording? Is it in the form of a one-on-one session? So on and so forth, right? Or is it a group recording? Is it like a class, right? Where you offer 20 spots at like $200 a piece, and then you know what I mean? Like, what are you offering, right? So your value proposition, get clear on your value proposition. Equally as important, get clear on who your target client is. Who do you want to serve, right? I always say if you're trying to figure out who your target client should be and you have no idea, you're starting from scratch, the easiest person to serve is your old self, or yourself up until yesterday, right? Up until a day ago, because you know how this person thinks, where they work, live, and play, right? You know what they seek, their pain points are, you know what bothers them, you can speak their lingo, and then you just appear as the finished product, right? Your target client also matters because, you know, certain clients are easier to deal with than others, right? Interestingly enough, the high-paying clients have their shit together. It's a lot easier to work with higher paying clients than it is lower paying clients. That's just the name of the game of business, right? And you have to get so clear on the value proposition, everything I'm saying, the value proposition and the target client, You have to be crystal clear. You should be able to write down like a whole one pager of how your target client thinks, how they act, where they show up, what kind of content they consume, what clothes they wear, what brands they're interested in, everything, what they do with their time, what their pain points are, everything. You should be able to describe them to a T, like a detective, right? And then at the end of the day, you should be able to label them in 2 to 3 words, right? My target client is high performers. High performers / high earners. Because for me, those are usually one and the same. That's who I was, right? I was always a high performer. What that really means is they usually come from a high stress corporate background, like tech or finance or sales. I bounced in all 3 of those, surprise, right? Highly ambitious, willing to use a credit card to invest in themselves. All of these things matter, right? How much they make, income range, right? That's important. You have to get crystal clear on that, okay? Get clear on pricing, right? So this is either going to make your job easier or harder or vastly different, right? $10,000, you can either sell 10 things for $1,000 or, 1,000 things for $10 or 1 thing for $10,000 or 2 things for $5,000. Whatever tickles your fancy, right? But pricing is important. Pricing also communicates your brand positioning. Just being honest, right? The higher price your thing is, the more premium and luxurious of a feel it has, right? And you got this has to make sense with who your target client is. Don't target an 18 to 22-year-old college kid, but price the thing at $5,000 or $10,000. They just won't have the money to pay you, right? Also, when it comes to your target client, you got to make sure that they are aware that they have a problem. Make sure that they are aware that they have a need, right? That needs to be solved. The last thing you want to be doing in these 30 days is convincing people that they need help. Go after a target client that is very well aware of the fact that they need some help, okay? This will save you a lot of headaches. Trust me, we got 30 days to do this, okay? Next, get very clear on what channels you are using. In other words, what social media platforms you are going to use. Yes, you have to use social media. It's 2024, right? Get very clear on what social media platforms you are going to use in order to let your client know that you exist, right? None of this works and none of this moves unless you become obsessed with letting your client know that you exist, right? By posting an obscene amount of content. And that's going to be step 2, but we're still on step 1, which is get clear. The best channels for rapid success, because we're trying to move quickly here, right? So TikTok. Sorry, it just is what it is. TikTok and Instagram. Notice how these are both primarily visual and video based platforms, right? Video gives people an ability to humanize your content and to see you and get to know you and trust you, right? This is a game of trust, right? Part of why you're going to have to be posting an insane amount of content is so that you can build trust quickly with people because they see you over and over and over and over and over again, right? That's, again, sticking to part 1, get clear. Get clear on what platforms you're going to be focusing on. I would honestly focus on TikTok and Instagram at the same time just because that's what I did and that's what I still do, right? And, both of those platforms have their own culture, right? You're not going to get on Instagram and start writing essays and a caption. Nobody reads that, right? We're in a rhythm of swiping. And you're not going to get on TikTok and start posting screenshots of paragraphs. These are video-based platforms, right? That reward authenticity. Okay, so pick your channels and stick to it. Don't do Instagram. Don't try and do all of them. I don't use Twitter at all. You don't want to have to be thinking about the content you're going to be posting and shifting modes from video to written to so on and so forth and writing your script out. It's too much, okay? So focus on 1, maybe 2. TikTok, maybe Instagram. Between TikTok and Instagram, I would probably choose TikTok. That's where I started, right? On social media. That's where I got my first social media client, is on TikTok. You have the fastest and by far the highest chance of blowing up, or at least getting substantial attention on TikTok versus Instagram, especially if your timeline is 30 days, okay? So I didn't realize I had all this other stuff here. I was blurred. There we go. Folks, I'm Airbnb-ing. I'm traveling the world. Anyway, so get clear, okay? Go Google that business model canvas and they have the prompts, they have the questions that you need to answer. Answer all of those questions so you get very clear on what you need to do, right? In terms of pricing, target client, value proposition, so on and so forth. Now, for me, this is how I would do it, okay? So I'll give you all the advice and then I'll tell you how I would do it. How I would do it is how I did it before. I would pick, if it's $10,000 I'm trying to make in 30 days, I want to have to sell as little as possible, right? I don't want to have to sell 50 items of $20 or 50 items of $200, right? I don't want to have to sell 50 times in 30 days, right? I want to sell maybe 2 times, maybe 3 or 4, okay? Which means I'm going to price my offering very highly, whatever my offering is. What makes sense to be priced highly is you're not going to sell a hypnosis recording for $2,500. Sorry. It's just no one in the right mind is going to buy it, right? For me, what would make the most sense is if I was doing like a mentorship or a really, really detailed course, which is you probably don't have time to create $2,500 worth of value in a course in 30 days. Or like a one-on-one hypnotherapy session and maybe ongoing sessions, right? Like you can sign them for anywhere between 1 and 5 sessions or something like that, right? Right? Price it in that way. That's how I would do it. I would charge them no less than like $2,000, and you either charge 5 people $2,000 or you charge 2 people $2,000 per session, time for like 2 or 3 sessions or something like that. I don't know how the math adds up, but you guys get where I'm going with this. Just make it add up to $10,000, okay? So that's that. Get very clear. Number 2, this is step 2. So step 1 of getting clear should take you literally within an hour, right? That business model canvas makes it really, really easy to follow. So you should be really clear within an hour. That's the first thing. The second thing, phase 2, okay? This is step 2. You need to be entirely focused on letting people know you exist. Getting really loud, right? Which really means, so step 2, you need to become focused on providing and putting out an overwhelming amount of content. You need to be entirely singularly focused on putting out an overwhelming amount of content. Why? Because in 2024, it's the single fastest way to grow a business. Social media supercharges your business, right? That's number 1. Number 2, trust, okay? So it gives people the opportunity to see you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times on their feed over the course of those 30 days and build that relationship with you and realize that you actually know what you're talking about, right? By the way, I'm going to assume that you have some kind of knowledge on hypnosis or hypnotherapy already if you're watching this video. If not, I have another video explaining hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and I'm coming out with deep mind programming hypnotherapy certification, so stay tuned at the end of February. But anyway, I digress. And what happens is when you put out content, it's like having a clone of you that is always making a first introduction, a first impression to people. They are always selling on your behalf, right? There's new people discovering my content every day. And it's like, it's clones of me, right? It's clones. And I have hundreds of my clones now in the form of hundreds of posts who are out there selling and delivering my message and presenting well and so on and so forth. That is the power of content. That's why it's an asset, right? It's cloning yourself, right? And so here's the growth equation, right? This is how it ties into making your $10,000 in 30 days. And I came up with this about a year ago at the beginning of 2023. Massive value, write this down. Massive value times massive What? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Massive value times massive output equals massive growth, which equals massive money. And I'll repeat that again. Massive value times massive output equals massive growth, which equals massive money. Massive value, right? So when you're putting out the content, and for those who take the deep mind programming hypnotherapy program, you have all the scripts for your content, so you don't gotta think about any of this. But when it comes to providing or putting out content that actually works and that people care about and will watch, it has to provide value, meaning it has to be about them and not about you, right? Not about how good you look or how well you come across. It has to be about how much they get out of watching it and actionable steps that they can use right after finishing the video that'll benefit their life in some way. So here's how I screen my content for value and how I know my content's valuable. I ask myself the following things. Number 1, Is it informative? AKA, is it providing a source of information for people? Like journalists do, right? Am I taking information and sharing it with you? Is it entertaining? People watch content for entertainment value. I don't really make entertainment-based content, so I usually skip that one. So these are, is it this or this or this? Doesn't have to be and all of those things. So is it informational? Is it entertaining? Is it educational? Which mine typically are. Or my mini hypnosis videos are kind of entertaining, so we'll call it that, right? People use them to take themselves out of reality. Or does it teach them how to make money? So is it informational, educational? Is it entertaining? Brain blank. Does it teach them how to make money, right? Or does it solve like a deeply seated problem? We'll call that number 4, right? If it checks off any one of those boxes, you know that, rest assured, there's some value in there. And of course, you refine this as you go on based on what you see in the comments, right? People will let you know if they didn't get much out of your video, or if they did and what you did well or what you didn't do well, right? So incorporate that feedback. Just don't take it personally, right? But that's massive value. Now, massive output is something that's 100% in your control. If you're dead serious, this is very black and white. If you're dead serious about making 10 grand in 30 days, if you are dead serious about making 10 grand in 30 days, you need to put out a massive amount of content, right? I'm talking like minimum 3 posts a day. I would be doing 5 posts a day, which is what I did for the longest time. You need to just increase your chances of being successful. Why wouldn't you? You're not doing anything anyways. You don't have any other clients that you're servicing. You're not building a website. Don't worry. We're not talking about building a website. You're not going to be focused on any of that pretty stuff. You're just putting out content. Before you ever see your first client, you're focused on putting out content and positioning yourself as a hypnotist / hypnotherapist, right? You're just putting out content. Your Instagram page or your TikTok page is your website. Don't worry about any of that infrastructure. You get the client, then you go set that up, right? This is like, here, all right. If it's this that you want, right? If it's this that you want, right? You have to have a like your mentality has to switch right now, right? You need to have the blinders on and nothing in between you and the money. Like you cannot see anything in between you and the money, right? Let me focus in, right? Hold on. When I really needed this is all I saw. Right? This is all I saw. Right? And I was not worried about making a website. I was not worried about anything. I was just like, I need to let people know I exist so that I can provide real value to them and change their lives and let them know that I have this amazing offering. I really believed in what I was pitching and selling because I was my first client. I saw the transformation in myself first, right? And you have, I'm telling you, the amount of content you put out is totally within your control. So if you're not putting out 5-7 pieces of content a day, and we'll talk about the types of content you can post even further, but I cover the value piece. If you're not posting 5 to 7 pieces of content a day, you don't want it that bad. You don't want it that urgently, right? And money comes to those who act, right? Like, either you're gonna get this or I'm gonna get this, right? The client has it. The client is ready to pay whoever. There's a client that's out there who's ready to pay. They just don't know who to go to yet, who to trust. So if it's me versus you, just know that I am going to make sure that the client finds me first before they find you, and that they trust me first before they find you, right? Because the theme of this video is a sense of urgency, obviously. $10,000 a month in 30 days. Well, here's your money. Here it is, right? That is it. Okay, you have I pull this out so that I can make this real for you. This isn't just some myth, right? Like, it's right here. I know what I'm talking about. I've gotten this like 10 times over from doing exactly the mentality piece, which is part number 3. But anyway, so the growth equation is massive value times massive output equals massive growth, which equals massive money. When I say massive growth, I mean growth in your audience, growth in your following, growth in your traction. You're being picked up by the algorithm. You can have this done within 30 days easily, right? Think about it. 5 posts a day times 7 days a week is the day. 35 posts a week, right? On one platform. 35 posts a week on one platform, meaning that is 35 opportunities, right? For you to be seen and for you to grow and take off and for your client to find you. That's 35 different opportunities in 1 week. That's a lot. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, not 13, not 14, not 15, not 16, not 17, not 18, not 19, not 20, not 21, 22, not 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 chances. You see where I'm going with this? That's why it's so important to post a lot of content. Because you can, there's a number of how many posts, everyone has a number of how many posts it will take for them to get their first client. So why wouldn't you be posting as often as possible? Now here's what I would recommend that you post. Again, informational content. What is hypnosis? What is hypnotherapy? Right? What is the subconscious mind? Information, right? Educate them, right? How the subconscious mind works, how the subconscious mind manifests money, how the subconscious mind stores trauma, how the subconscious mind controls identity, so on and so forth. And you answer that question, or you go Google it, and then you be the source of information for other people. You tell them what you found, right? That's how you do it. Number 2, try and hypnotize people through the phone, right? If you are in the Deep Mind Programming Hypnotherapist program, right, you get all the scripts. So you don't really have to worry about this. However, what I would just recommend, honestly, for watching this video is copy my hypnosis videos. Straight up. Copy my hypnosis videos, right? I post 90-second reels. You can break it down to the timing and the sections. It's pretty much all the same, right? And it's, the first 30 seconds is about relaxation and, taking a hold of the conscious mind and relaxing the body and breath work. Take a deep breath. All this, just copy my videos. What more can I say, right? But putting out mini hypnosis videos so that people can start to see that they have some kind of reaction to the sound of your voice, to the pace that you talk, so on and so forth, and that you are actually a hypnotist. Okay? So we don't have time to worry about how much experience you have or so on and so forth, right? If you do a good job in the videos and the content, nobody cares about how much experience you have. If you come across as a professional, your potential clients are not going to care, or they're not going to ask about how much experience you have. I very rarely get asked that. Granted, I do have experience, but even when I started, I rarely got asked that, right? So don't get in your head about it. Again, we have 30 days. You're either in this or you're not, right? So informational / educational videos and mini hypnosis videos. That's it. And maybe you reshare or repost other really popular hypnotists or hypnotherapists and put your voiceover commentary, or do a duet, right? Like a split video, you on one half, them on the other half, and you talk about what they're doing as if you are an expert, because you are for the next 30 days. Next, so if phase 1 and step 1 is getting clear, right? Get clear. And step 2 is put out an overwhelming amount of content. Step 3, and this is the most important one, because without this, you don't have any. Step 3 is mentality, right? This right here is mentality. You see money, you might see money. I see energy and mentality, right? There's a reason my old self never had this, just laying around. Right? It's because of his mentality. I'm no more talented than he was. I'm no more smarter than he was. I just have a different mentality. What kind of mentality, Pablo? What are you talking about? Be more specific. How can I implement this mentality thing that you speak of? All right, let's get into it. Let's get into specifics. You want to act as though you've done it before, and that this is what you do. Okay? I'm reading this because I wrote it down on my sticky pad. When you are putting out this content, your mentality is you have to convince yourself that you are the world's best hypnotherapist, right? The first time I did my first sales call, because of hypnosis, and this is what I do, I had to convince myself that I was the world's best salesman, right? I was the best at handling sales calls. I was an ultimate closer. Guess what happened? I closed my first client, $2,500 USD, right? I convinced myself, and I leaned back a bit, because if I'm confident in what I do, I lean back a bit, right? This is what I do, right? And that is the energy you have to have in all of your content, in all of your conversations with potential clients and prospects. You need to act. I'm sorry. You have to, right? You have to act for yourself. This is what the 30 day, like and this is any profession, you have to act and come off as though you are confident and this is what you do, that you've done it before. You have to act, right? If you're not even just a hypnosis business, but if you're building an agency or something, you're not going to cold call a business trying to get them as a client and be like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Johnson, I've never done this before, but I'd like you to be my first client. No. In fact, you don't even have to touch on that, right? Thousands of successful cases later, I don't even talk about how many clients I've worked with or not worked with. That's not even a talking point for me. It's just the energy, it's the confidence I have. What do I mean by that? How would you come across if you've done it? Put yourself, hold on. Close your eyes and imagine that you are a world-renowned hypnotherapist. How would you act? How would you speak? What would your mannerism be like? Let's do it right now. Hypnotize yourself. Right? Hypnotizing yourself is really just imagining yourself in scenarios, right? Imagining that you're the best salesperson and acting the part, right? Kids are great at that. They imagine that they're superheroes and Disney princesses. Just imagine and act. Imagine and act. Imagine that you make a lot of money. Imagine that $10,000 is easy for you to make. Imagine that you are the world's best salesperson. Imagine that you're the best hypnotherapist. Imagine and act as if. And when you act like that and when you talk like that in your content, people are really sensitive to that and they really pick it up, right? They'll really pick it up. And I think that's what worked for me, is I came off as a professional before I ever had anyone tell me that I was great or that I was a professional. I acted as though I knew I was great, right? And that's how, it worked for me. But that is what I mean when I say the mentality piece. Act as though you've done it before and that this is what you do. That's what I say in my calls till this day. I'm like, this is what I do, right? And I can see that it resonates with them, right? But I'm telling you guys, the person who makes the sale is the person who needs it less, right? The person who's the least desperate and who needs the money the least is the one that makes the sale. The one who closes, shall I say, right? So that is how you're going to do it. I don't want you to come in the comments and say I didn't give you enough info, because I gave you everything, right? Number one, get clear. I directed you to the business model canvas that tells you everything you need to know. Price your offering in a way where you can make $10,000 in a month, right? How I would do it is I would aim to get 4 clients at $2,500 for a one-on-one hypnotherapy session. Now, if $2,500 sounds like an absorbent amount to you, I refer you to step number 3, which is the mentality piece, because I promise you it's not a lot of money. There are clients out there willing to pay it. This is your proof. All right. Number 2, put out an overwhelming amount of content. This is when I can tell when people are serious or not. They post 3 times a week. I'm sorry. You don't want go to the how to make $10,000 in a year video, which I will never put out. Not the $10,000 in 30 days. You asked for 30 days, I gave you a 30-day blueprint that I followed multiple times over. All right. Number 3, mentality. Act as though you've done it before and that this is what you do. Okay. With that being said, folks, let me know if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments. This is very possible. I've done 4 times this in 30 days. From using the exact same thing I'm telling you guys, by the way, like starting on a new platform and then doing it all over again. So I don't want to hear any excuses, right? I'm also as much as I am a hypnotist and hypnotherapist, I'm a high performance coach as well. So I don't take well to excuses. But you guys wanted the blueprint. I gave you the blueprint. So hope this helps you. And I know this helps me in a parallel reality. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.